to family reasons she was not able to come. So, but well, she really wanted to show her the results of her investigation. So this is her presentation and her report. I'm just going to read it to you. On the territory of the North of Asia, the resettlement processes were extremely uneven. From the ancient time to present, the North of Siberia, in comparison with the Southern Asia, is not widely populated. However, one of the regions of the North Asia, the West Siberian Plain, is radically different in population. In the Bronze Age and the early Iron Age, in the taiga zone of Western Siberia, the number of settlements of hunter-gathering communities surpassed the number of settlements of modern time. Modern people, they have a complex economy. And this phenomenon concerns only the taiga zone of the north of Western Siberia, where archaeologists have identified over than 745 settlements. This situation is unique since there is no such concentration recorded in neighboring territories. So, while analyzing the general question of the resettlement and adaptation processes on this territory and studying the phenomenon of population concentration in the taiga zone, we concluded a primary architectural analysis of the fortified settlement from the middle of the first millennium BC until the middle of the second millennium AD. So, as an example, among the 10 major archaeological complexes, we have chosen the largest one, Swarovski Lakes, because it is the least damaged by anthropogenic impact. So, the research, the research tasks included chronological differentiation of topographic plans for defensive residential complexes, the initial architectural analysis of the composition and the planning structure of them, and a comparative analysis with the complexes from the steppe zone of Eurasia in the south. So, sandy soils of the taiga zone of Western Siberia preserve the configuration of the remains of the archaeological objects did well hits the remaining of walls, constructions can be visibly well fixated on the surface. So the study of the archaeological complexes will allow us to analyze the chronology, the intensity of the settlement of the territory of North Asia. So what are we going to talk about first are the origins. So in modern Russian historiography, the Asian population of this region is considered to be formed in the Neolithic period as a mixture of Asian and European anthropological types. So the North was not their ancestral home, of course. All the population groups of the North of Asia are newcomers. So there were systematic migrations of the population from the southern territory to the north. From the beginning of the early age, the defensive residential complexes were widely distributed throughout the whole territory. So it is thought that, the idea of building the defensive residential complex came to the north with the migrants from the southern steppe. So of course, the complexes are not that big in comparison with the ones from the steppe, but this fact can be explained by climate conditions, by the need to maintain the heat level inside the house and in severe and prolonged winters, and by different landscape conditions. So how did migrants get there? Most settlements from the southern steppe zone are located on small rivers near the Tabor River, the main river, which connects the steppe of the southern Ural with the territory of the north of Western Siberia. So we think that the most logical way from the southern territories to the taiga is through the basin of Tabor River, then the Irtysh River, and then along the Ob Basin and up to the Arctic lands. So probably this is how defensive residential complexes appeared on the territory of the north of Siberia, and they existed until the first third of the 18th century. So, interesting in this, that fortified settlements in the southern Ural in the early Iron Age disappeared. But that was the time when on the territory of the north, this construction type has only appeared. So this is a comparison table of the farmers' complexes of the south and the hunter-gatherers' complexes of the north. So the archaeological complex Sadovsky Lakes is 100 of different objects of archaeology and ethnography of different type of functioning. Among them, there are 38 defensive residential complexes, and so the architectural analysis of plans of defensive residential complexes consists of graphically restoring the main planning elements. So the defensive system and the residential complex. The first settlements in the Sadovsky Lakes appear in the Bronze Age. However, they cannot be called defensive residential complexes since the fact they were just separately standing fortified dwellings. So the defensive residential complexes, which include a residential area with no less than 4 buildings, appear only in the 8th, 7th century BC, so it's the early Iron Age. The fortification system of these complexes at different chronological stages remains unchanged, but varies in how big it is. So during the 6th, 12th centuries AD, there was an increase in how big it is, how massive it is. So how big was the defensive system. The number of dwellings is changing, as you can see. The dimensions, the size of defensive residential complexes change over time. In the early Iron Age, the average size is about 50 by 35 meters. The maximum is about 100 by 50 meters. And the Middle Ages is slightly smaller. From the documentary sources, it is known that one dwelling was occupied by a family of 6-8 people. So the number of family planning community of a single defensive residential complex is average about from 50 to 70 people. So according to their analysis of the planning structure of the defensive residential complexes of Sadovsky Lakes, social differentiation of the sites is not recorded because there are no differences in the size or the location of dwellings of the residential area. So two basic planning systems are distinguished, the mixed and regular. So this is the mixed one. Several elements are located outside the general structure in most cases within a clear geometric defensive systems. There inside can be some chaotic random housing constructions, but it's not often. So in regular planning system, there is a certain arrangement of the elements. There is a parallel, perpendicular arrangement of dwellings within a clear geometric defensive system. It is determined that about 75% of defensive residential complexes belong to this planning system. So the shape can be rectangular or close to rectangular. So the main axes of the residential complex are straight, parallel, perpendicular to the central axis. More examples. Possible options of organizing the defensive system is a rectangle with truncated corners or some protrusions, but the reason for variations of plans, not known reliably, but perhaps just in order to fit into the landscape. So the deviation from straight lines and straight angles can be also there. Just straight ones, yes, can be the result of imperfect constructions, technologies, and tools. So this one also, so they may be very, very straight. So, in comparative analysis of the fortified settlement of the Slavsky lakes from the 8th, 7th centuries BC until the Middle Ages on the territory of the north of Western Siberia, in comparison with the settlement of the Bronze Age of the Stepdom of the Southern Ural, show that there were a lot of common planning principles. Residential architecture is one of the elements of human adaptation to the environment and climatic conditions. Architecture reflects the traditions of a house building and the adaptation of mankind to the new natural conditions, as well as the main stages of the development of the society and social relations. So we can consider that the planning structure and architecture of defensive residential complexes, along with the geographical aspects and the material culture, is one of the signs of gradual transformation of the culture of farmers into the culture of northern hunter-gatherers. So the farmers of the steppe of the South Ural moved to the taiga of the north of Western Siberia, and they completely lost agriculture. They abandoned deer breeding and new hunting methods, and as a result, a new culture of hunters-gatherers was born.